Hello everyone, welcome to the first walkthrough for season 19 on NASRS. So for those of you who are new here, usually I'm doing this the Sunday before the race week. We're going to do this one earlier since we have the qualification, so it gives you a little bit of time to work on your lap and work on stuff that might help you during this walkthrough. The way it's working, we're gonna start the lap from the inside. We'll do the full lap, normal speed, and then after that we'll do a second lap from the outside view so you could have a better view of the line. And then after that we'll go corner by corner, and at that point when we're going corner by corner, if you have a question at any time, don't hesitate, just ask it. Don't need to wait to the end of the walkthrough. You could ask question as we go. So let's start from the lap from the inside. This lap was done on the qualification servers. I'm with the McLaren Evo, and the ballast is there. It's a lap that I did last week for one of my stints when I was practicing. So let's take a look at the onboard view for this lap.
Which car is this?
McLaren Evo.
Cool.
So let's go back and we'll go from the outside view, take a closer look at the line that I will use, and you could take a look at the throttle, the brake, the steering input from the widget on the right. Same lap from the Then we'll go corner by corner, and that lap was a 143.3. Now we'll go corner by corner, and like I said, if you have any question at any time, just ask it. If we want to see something or not sure something, don't hesitate. Just ask. That's why we're here. So when I'm gonna talk during all this lap, line for each car should be pretty much the same thing. What will change from car to car is braking. I'm gonna tell you what's the braking reference, but you might have to play like a little bit sooner, or some car could brake later than McLaren. McLaren doesn't have the best brake, so it's just some place for you to have a start. So where I should be aiming, try to brake, but like I said, it will be different from car to car and also be different. I am playing in the VR and I'm from the inside view in the VR. If your field of view is different from mine, or if you play on the different camera, then mine different settings, so all those things could change where will be your best braking reference for you. So it's just something to keep in mind, that it's not the same thing for all the car, and it's not the same thing for all of you. If you play on the flat screen, or like I said, different camera, it could all change the braking, your reference that you're going to use for any corner in the track. So we're gonna start turn one. We just get to the end of the straight, the longest straight of the track. So you want to use as much track as possible. So your track limit will be pretty much is, you could go your right tire on the red and white curb. Uh, you try to open the corner as much as possible if you look from the outside and still have a bit of play. I'm not sure for turn one for this place if you pass the white line. I don't remember, so, but I could imagine it could be the white line. So maybe just get close like this. This is safe. You're not gonna get a track cut on quali or warning on a race day. So braking reference here is a little bit before the 100-meter board that we have on the left. So let's go just slowly to find. So it's a couple of cars before this, the 100-meter board. Right now the track is optimal. So you could see that the white line is wide, then you get the rubber mark more on the line. But if you're racing on a track that is just green, it might not be there. So it's always best to use something that will not change during the race or the time of day, or will not be destructible, like this board there could not be destruct. So that's what I'm trying to use. I use combination of the board and like some stuff on the right when I see it on my right corner, my eyes. But the other meter board, it's a couple of car, like maybe if you look from the outside, it will be probably it's a bit still have a good way to the 100-meter board if you look from the outside. So it's like halfway between the 100 and the 200 that we have there. A little bit more than halfway. So that's something. So use the track as much as you could on the left, and here we'll go slowly. Braking, keeping the steering straight to maximize your braking. Release the brake. She goes just back, so you want to aim at your you want your right tire to be on the green stuff between the grass and the little sausage curd that is there on the inside. So you want to put your right tire right there. So if you want to maximize everything, that's what you want to do. even if we go from the outside, I can even like touch the grass a bit. Slow. Yeah, I'm front wheel are on the grass. That's a bit much. As you can see here, but around here, see, I get back on the. So you could cut a lot of the first corner. See, left tire are still on track, and that's still legal. If you only have like a couple inches on the track, that's still fine. We could cut a lot of the first corner. Let's go back. So for turn 1, 2, and 3, I try to think it of like one corner. It's just like it's going with the flow of those 3 corners just really quick. You don't have a long straight between those. I'm trying to just focus on like a combination of corner. So let's go back to corner 1. Same thing here. See, I went the left wheel just over the sausage skirt that we have just in front of here. So I want to put my tire right here this time, so you can see I'm riding on the curve. This one is bigger than the first one. The first part of the curve, they're really not. They're not hard like some other track. You could ride on those. It will not upset the car or anything. So this should be fine. See, I'm cutting a lot. So what I'm doing for turn 2, when I get there, if we just go back a tiny bit, I'll do a lift here, get back on the road really quickly. And when I get between those two boards, but those boards could be destroyed, so it's not the best to set between those two. So what I want to use instead, I'm going to use the end of the gravel here. Just go back a tiny bit. So I did it a little bit early, so when I passed the first board, and I was a little bit earlier, so you want to do a small lift here. So you lift as far as go, and when you see as far away, when you get aligned to it, see it's coming almost aligned with me with the orange on the gate on the left. That's my reference for getting back on throttle. I don't usually use a lot of point for acceleration, but for this corner it's a really good one to use, I think. So you could use this, but you will see I think I'll lift a little bit. Okay, so let's watch again 1, 2, and 3 full speed. And for turn 2, take a look at the throttle. It will be a lift, but it's really a small lift. And I think on 3 I touch a brake a bit. You could do with just a lift. The reason why I touch a brake, I was carrying a lot. I think I touch. We'll see. If I touch it, it's just like a tiny touch, like 10% of the brake, not even 5-10, just to give a little bit more grip on the front. It's not even for losing brakes, more for changing the weight of the car to get a little bit on the front back. So let's watch a full speed. Completely on the left, and you want to stay here to prepare for turn 4. Is there any question on 1, 2, and 3?
I have one question.
Yep.
The The corner where we have to lift on the gravel, is that T3?
Yes, it is.
Yes. Next
Okay.
video. I'm gonna lift here, like after the mark or close to the end of the gravel between those two, where you want to lift. Then you'll see the orange on the left appear, and then get back full throttle at that point.
One thing to notice also is how smooth his hands are in every corner. Once he sets the angle, he hangs onto it. You might have small adjustments, but it's not huge. You're not, seesawing with the wheel. He's turning in. He gets to say 45 degrees, and he holds that angle. That means he's making the tires do the work at that particular angle.
Yeah, I think there was last season. I saw a video where someone was saying like a lot of people driver could lose time because when we say use all the track exit on the edge of it, some driver what they don't notice that they will unwind the wheel to let the car go, but like this corner turn 3 is a good one to see. So I'm gonna, like Larry said, I'm gonna turn the wheel, set it there, and then I'm back full throttle and still keeping the wheel at pretty much the same angle to finish the corner. So I'm not unwinding the wheel to get the car to the left of the track, but it's just going there naturally because it's carrying more speed and just drag you to the left.
Just letting the momentum of the car push itself over.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So you don't want to correct to go there because if you do that, you're losing time. Right? So you want to use as much of your car lit to the car go to there. So if you don't exit here on turn 3, for example, you probably went on throttle too late. If you exit wider than this, you invalidate your lap. You went on throttle too soon. If you're like keeping your wheels pretty much the same way for like I just did for the turn, so it's a good indication of did you get too soon or too late on throttle, just by the positioning of the car at the end of the corner. Right. Coming to turn 4. So you exit on the left. You want to put your right tire right close to the edge. I'm on the white line. I want to stay there. I'm not sure if you could cross the white line here. I'll have to check it. Usually I keep it like this to make sure I don't invalidate or causing a warning on a race. I want to stay here. My reference will be when the bridge is going to disappear on the top of my windshield.
Does the green strip have a meaning? Like, can you predictably tell when you're on a track that if there's a green strip, it's safe to be on, or is it just they put them where they want to put them?
What do you mean safe? Like for lap to be valid, or
you know how different curbs have different textures,
yeah,
and some of them are really rough and some of them are fairly smooth. Does the green mean that this is like a smoother textured rumble strip, I guess? I don't know, or a curb. I'm not sure what they're called.
it's after the curve. It's just green paint on the track.
Right. So does it have a meaning? Like, does it, besides being a reference point, is there a special reason for having a green line there?
I don't know. Anybody know? Or just probably just aesthetic, visually.
Okay.
I was going to say Ilpo's not here, so he would probably know, but it would probably be aesthetics or being able to see the edge of the track more clearly.
Right. Okay. Fair enough.
But sometimes, not only that, it will be AstroTurf in certain areas, so be careful. One of the reasons you want to take slow laps out early is because you need to know the differences. Like this particular track here, you may have AstroTurf. Is it? Let's see, 5, 6 in the inside of turn 6 or 7. I think it is at the bottom of the hill. there is AstroTurf on the inside. But like at Paul Ricard, which is a totally different track, there are several different colors on the track, and each one of them has a very different traction ability.
I agree.
And literally, if you're in the blue, you have a certain amount of grip, and if you're in the red, you have even less grip, or whatever the case may be.
You have
So yes,
more,
sometimes it is a very different grip level.
yeah, Paul Ricard, more you go on the left, the color, I think the red is the more grip. Like, you spin there, you probably destroy the tire.
Exactly.
Okay, thanks.
I never think about that, why the green stuff was there. It's a good question.
By the way, please, if anybody does have any questions, do not hesitate to ask, because the only stupid question is the one that you did not ask.
Yeah. So, you have a nice reference here. You have the bridge that will get to the top when you'll see him. It's just starting to disappear if you stop it, but when you're going full speed, it's like when I see it like disappear. Just about before it disappeared, that's where I'm starting to brake. So I'm still on the same line, still on, because it's dry, I will be here, but if it was wet, I'll probably not going to try to brake on the green paint because probably going to be really slippery in the wet. But for this week, we have a lot of weather to be nice, same thing, probably around the same thing that we are running for qualification. So it'll be perfectly fine to brake here. You have same grip level and you're just gonna open the corner more after that. So another thing to keep in mind is I didn't talk about it about the beginning, but gear. I'm gonna take the corner or exit the corner. Don't try to, unless you have the same car, you could try those gear, but even that it could also depend on the setup if you have low wing or high wing setup. So you'll have, it could give you an idea, but I think like this one, I don't know, on this lap I'm using the second gear, but I've started to use the third gear, so that's always something that you could try with your car, but it gives you a general idea on which gear you should be, but could be sometimes I will use, especially in the McLaren, a gear higher than other car, and later in the lap I have one place that I will point it to you that I will use probably a higher gear than different car. So let's continue to turn 4. We are at the braking where I'm starting to brake. So hard on brake, start to turn the car a bit, and then you're gonna start to release it and trail brake here. Keep it tight, and then the car will start to move away from it, back on throttle, and then still have a long way to turn, but we still back full throttle here, and I'm gonna just let the car go to the left of the track just before the curb. Don't want to go too much on this one. You have the grass that is right after, and the curb is not, it's not big, so I don't want to use, because there are some big bump here that could make you lose a lot of time for this corner if you're going a little bit too wide here and bump the car, and you never know what could happen. So just go close to it, but you don't even have to touch it. You're gonna change or gain or lose a lot of time if you use it or not. So let's watch back this one full speed just to see where I get back on throttle and how long that still have to turn the car. So while you're going, similar to turn 3, so you get back on the throttle, you get the car, just continue, keep your steering, turn, you just let the car do its job, and it's going to exit to, if you do it right, close to the left of the corner, and should be good. The next corner, turn 5, is a corner where we don't really have a good reference point for this one. It's not like the turn 4. We have the bridge that's there, it's really nice, nicely played. But for this one, it's more like, for me, it's a feel. Just doing it by feel. Since I did it so many times, now I'm just in a rhythm of it, and you just know when to break. But I don't try to look at anything here. But we'll still, there's some, but let's see. There's this light. I don't even know if it's a light post, but this tower radio one. You could see it here on my left window, but you're gonna break after that, so it's not a good idea to have a breaking reference where the object is behind you. It's just gonna make it harder for you. But if you see the radio, you know you need to break after that. I see I'm still not on the brake. I'm gonna pass it. Now I'm on the brake here, and like you see, there's not much in front of you or beside you. We don't have marker or anything. So this one for me is really like feel. There's a little dent in the track here, so let's go tiny bit. Like the track's going down, you could feel it in the car. You see, like the car is bumping down a bit, but some people like to use that thing around here, and then you start to raise.
What works good too for me, Michael, is if you look on the fence, the white fence,
Yep.
you see 3 dots, 3 dots, 3 dots,
Those.
3 dots. It's a pattern.
Yeah.
See it?
Yeah.
It looks like some rubber marks. That's, believe it or not, that's what I use.
How do you
The
know
3,
which
then
one
it's
is
3.
it?
Well, no, you just know because, like you said, you get a feel for when you got to brake.
Yeah.
I don't look for, okay, the first set of 3 are at the beginning of the curbing. That's too early.
Yeah.
Then I see the next set of 3. Well, the next set of 3 is, that tells me that's my breaking point. But still, just like you, it's a feelings, but that tells me this is the point kind of thing, right? You know, I see that, I know where my breaking point is. But there's nothing, like you said, there's nothing solid or on the line that tells you, okay, here's where you slam on the brakes. But that's what I use, because I have triples, so it shows up on the side of my screen for me. You know, so
Yeah,
that's what I do.
your peripheral vision sees it well, and it looks like 3 scuff marks, like somebody skidded against the wall.
Yeah, and it's a pattern all the way down the wall. So I don't know if that would work for someone else, but if you find the good breaking point, and you go, oh, here's a good breaking point, and you go, oh, look, that's exactly where the 3 are. So like yours, you're about to break, and there's the next 3.
Yeah.
Right, kind of thing. So I mean, it's still not right, but it's just, I'm just trying to help people out with a reference point.
Yeah,
That's what I use.
Something that you could use.
Yeah.
Definitely something that you have the beginning of
'Cause
the
that
curve.
pattern-
It's aligned with this one, so
Yeah.
you know you could work somewhere after the one after the curve start.
Yeah, because the pattern's the same all the way down that wall.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is reliable or not, but sometimes what I'll use is like, so I race in the view where you're in the cockpit, but you can't see the virtual steering wheel.
Okay.
So I'm in the Ferrari, and there's a fixture. I don't know if it's a vent or I forget right now what it is, but it's a fixed part of the car, and you can line it up with exterior things like that van, or I don't know if the vans move in the game or not, or the tents up on the hill. And when it makes a straight line between your head and that reference point in the car and the thing in the distance, then that's a braking reference. But that only works if you're in the same spot on the track each time. So it's kind of vague, but in places like this where there's not a lot to go on, you can kind of use it.
Yeah. Anything that.
Any of the stuff that's outside the wall, or like the flags, the buildings, the cars, the ambulances, the tents in the background, they're all static.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah. Anything for you that could work here, just use it. Like for me, as a feel, I don't look at anything. I just do it because I have a lot of lap on this track. But anything that you are comfortable, that it's something that will not change from different track condition, you could definitely use it. I will not use some mark on the track because if it's like optimal, like I said before, compared to a green track, the mark on the track will change a rubber mark. So
Following another car, you'll never see it in time.
yeah.
Another thing you guys possibly could do, if any of you have ever played an instrument, you know how you keep a beat while you're playing music? You could give yourself some counts like that depending on something like a reference point, because just to the right and slightly behind him, there's an access road on the right-hand side here. Now, that is too early for the braking marker, but it's a visual. You could use the end of the curb on the right-hand side here and then give it a 1-2 count. And if that's too early, you know that a 1-2-3 might be better. So some rhythm while you're driving might also help some of you guys also.
Yeah. The rhythm is really important. Like probably maybe some of you have seen when I read it before. I have a degree in music, so almost all the lab at this point, I'm not thinking, okay, I'm getting to that point to my reference and I'm breaking. Pretty much all my life is just I'm not looking at breaking anymore. It's just when I get to the rhythm, I'm just doing the same thing over and over, just like almost playing a song. So
I
yeah,
was kind of going to ask about talking yourself through corners like that. Do when people are driving, are they like turn one, turn two, like saying the turn numbers in your head so you can constantly learn them, or is it just from knowing the track? Because I sometimes I do it. Like my daughter's a dancer, so she's always got the 1 2 3 4 1 2 or whatever
Right.
in her head.
Devin talks to himself constantly while he's driving, but the only problem is he's usually cussing out loud. Yeah, sometimes you really have to keep your concentration, and actually Devin does do that. He has a tendency to kind of like, I wouldn't say space out. It's more like he describes it as it helps him keep going and paying attention to what he's doing because his mind doesn't have to have a tendency to wander. It keeps his
Mm-hmm.
focus because he's thinking, okay, we need to brake here, we need to turn in. You know, it's like he's talking out loud to keep the pace up in his head.
yeah,
Yep, that
that will
makes
be
sense.
different from driver because I'm not talking to myself. I'm just like doing in my head. It just when I'm getting in the zone, it's just nothing. I just do it. It's just like when I start to think of stuff, and then I'm just doing mistakes. So I'm just trying to get an empty mind and just let the muscle do the work. See, I'm completely the opposite of Davian. So I think we'll probably be different from driver, and I've seen a video some professional driver like what they do when they are on the lap to get to the pit all the way all that lap they just keep telling themselves box all the lap to make sure they don't forget to pit on that lap.
Mhm.
So there's different thing you could try, so it will depend on driver to driver. Okay, let's continue. So this one is a little bit harder, but the rest of the lap are pretty will be better for a braking reference. So going here, you're gonna brake, get the car as close as possible to the curve on the right, trying to straight up the wheels as much as possible, maximize it. See, I'm already starting to turn still full brake. This cars I have ABS, so we'll use it, and then I'm starting to release it. Trail brake a bit, then I will let it go, like here. And at this point here, I'm gonna get back full throttle, already full throttle here. So I want to go close to the curve on the left, but I don't want to go on it. This one, since we have a lot of camber in the track, so we have a positive camber is good for us. We could try to carry more speed because we have this camber here that will hold the car more, but the curve is on the other side, the angle is on the side, so I don't want to upset the car. I don't want to go on this one, even though it's flat. I don't want to go touch there and unbalance the car. I want to stay on the track, and then I could get back here, full throttle, and you want to use as much track as you could. So here, get on the curb, get your right wheels on the green. Let's see here, did I? Yeah. So the track limit here is the red and white curve. So if you go out and you have your left wheel on the green, this will invalidate your lap or warning. So your right wheel will be like right to the edge of the gravel, or even touching it, and but you could cross the white line here for corner exit.
Does an invalidated lap in a race mean it doesn't count towards your lap total, or just that it can't count as a fastest lap?
It cannot count as the fastest lap, but it could give you a warning. So in the race, you
Right.
could go to 3 warning, then 4 you have a drive-through.
A penalty, right?
If you could have just no time gain in the race. So if you some track like here, it could be hard to get, but you might because you touched the equally will invalidate your lap for sure. In the race, this one I think track cut will be hard to get here because your right wheel will touch the gravel, so it will slow you down. So you probably have no time gain. What you're gonna lose
Yeah.
because
Yeah, so nobody cares.
yeah, not gonna gain time, but if you go too much on the gravel, you're gonna lose a lot of time down here. And if someone is right behind you, you'll have a chance on the next corner. Just go back, see full speed for that corner. And as you can see, that corner I turned the wheel like close to 90 degrees, and that's pretty much the max that I will ever turn the wheels, except maybe for some airpin at some track I could turn a bit more than 90, but it's really rare that we'll go more than 90 degrees on the steering wheel. So look back at your replay, and if you're going more than that, you're probably asking too much for the car from the front tire and just scrubbing your front tire and destroying it and losing time. So be careful on your input. Your input will gentle input on brake, throttle, and steering will give you a better result on your lap time. Coming to 6, I think, or we are. Technically 7, I guess. The other one was 6. A little king on the straight, and somewhat straight. So this will be turn 7, and here we have a way better marker for. Here we have right here. We have the triangle that's starting for the curve. So when we get just before it, that's where I'm gonna start to brake. Getting to it, I'm already not full throttle, but when you look at foot speed, like when I'm starting to see it getting close, that where I want to brake. So you want to brake close to the curve again, trying to maximize your track, but be careful here we don't have extra stuff on the curve. We have the grass here, and if you touch it, it's probably gonna go straight and not even make the corner. It's really tricky. This corner, it's one of the tricky on this track. When you get back on the throttle, because as you can see the track, it's like you have camber here, but then straight and then go up. It's just changing the weight on the car, and the rear could be really loose on the corner exit for this one. So let's going slowly. So I'm close to the curb. As you can see, I'm not on it. I'm just rear wheel a tiny bit, but I usually don't go on this one. I just don't like to brake here. Could be a car thing, but on this car I don't want really to touch it. Let's continue. Brake. And here, for this lap, this part is pretty aggressive. You can see I go up. I think I went on the green. Feel like the left wheel aren't. Yeah. So this is really aggressive for this corner.
And this is the AstroTurf I was talking about, because that literally is AstroTurf grass for the drainage.
Yeah. So this is really aggressive for this corner. What I should have done is keep my tire on bottom part of the curb here. This was aggressive, but I feel comfortable in the car and my setup, so I could take it, but it's not faster than keep it on the bottom. You're not gonna gain like half a second by doing this. You could just maybe spin something. So you don't need to do this. You could try it. Try it in option practice, see it. But even if you look at even faster lap than this on YouTube, they are not even going on this. They're staying on the bottom of it. So just keep that in mind for this corner. And then this is the part when you get back on throttle, and which in some cars, some setup, it's really easy to lose the rear here. The track is not small, so it's a little bit better, but if you race on a green or fast track, it's really easy to lose it. See the car even here is started to slide a bit. And then on the exit here, you want to use as much track as possible. So this sausage here that we have stripped, it's fine to go over it. You see the car, the track limit are the curb. So even though I have left wheel are over the white line, still a valid lap this. So if you don't cross, don't put all your 4 wheels on the grill, you're still fine. So
You sometimes need to be careful in certain cars because if you go over the very beginning of that sausage curb, it doesn't like it.
yeah.
You can literally lift the front of the car off the track if you hit that too hard.
Yeah. So just be careful. So pushing that much, I don't know if I'll try it in race, but maybe we'll see. It depends on the race how much I'll feel, but we'll see. The exit here is one place that you could invalidate a lap really easy, just because the way when you exit the corner is the rear wheel leaves and you want to get on the edge of the curb. So if you're just the rear lose a little bit too much and then just slide off, and then you just invalidate your lap. But it's just hard corner. So let's take a look at the speed. Take a look at it. Brake. Full throttle. Next corner, that will be turn 9. So what I'm doing here, there's at the end of the curve, you have the triangle like concrete that's ending the curve. So when I'm getting there, I'm gonna do a tap of the brake, and then I'm gonna try to coast. Let's go slowly. So getting here, starting tap of the brake, and then I'm just coasting, letting the car go. See, no throttle, no input. I have a little bit of input here, and then back full throttle. See, I lift a little bit because I went on full throttle a little bit too early. Then track limit here, it's the curve, it's not the white line, it will be the end of the red and white curve. So just to show you how quick is the lift, the brake, I mean, we're gonna take a look full speed. I'll go corner before just here, and you'll see it's really like just a tap of the brake really quickly. So there, any question on this stage at like 7, 9? Okay, we'll continue to turn 10. Turn 10 is one of the plays you could try an overtake if you get a good run on someone. You do turn 9 and you have a better run. That's one play that you could try to do the overtake. It was really hard to pass on Barcelona like turn 1. Turn 1 is so fast, even though we have a nice straight line. If you could do the pass before the turn, it's good if you get the run on the last turn, but it's not like hard braking zone. It's still a braking zone for turn 1, but it's not an easy play. This one could be doable on turn 10 here. So coming to turn 10, gear pin. So what I'm using the crane, the yellow crane on the left. So when it get to the top of my windshield, like here, that's where I'm going to brake. See, it's just getting to the top of my windshield. So that's one thing you could use. You have the 100-meter boards. That's similar length to turn one. That's another thing. Some people like to use the tree. They just, you can see it.
Could you point out the tree specifically that you're talking about from outside? I know it's on the right edge of your screen, but sometimes people can't quite see it like we do.
Yeah. So this one, which is after
Right in the middle of the screen, yeah.
You have one. It's one in the middle of the 100-meter and 150-meter mark. Some people like to use those. Is it up to you? You have a couple thing here that you could work on for your braking reference. I like to use the yellow one because it's on the left and next turn is on the left, so I'm already preparing to look on the left. For me it's working better than looking the right and then turning on the left. So I am on the curve here. It's fine to use for the braking in the dry. So trying to brake on the straight line again as much as possible. Braking hard. We're coming pretty fast here. We have the hairpin here. I'm gonna go down to first gear, but I will back shift on the second gear. So McLaren doesn't really like the first gear to exit corner. So that's one place that another car could easily stay in first gear and not go into the second gear right away. The reason why I go down to first gear and then right shift back up is just to use the engine brake even more to help me slow down the car for that corner. So when you brake with your brake, but you also want to downshift as quickly as possible to use your engine braking. So that's why here I did that corner like that. If you look at full speed, you'll see I'm not gonna stay long in the first gear, so it was just to slow the car.
Also pay attention to how long he holds the brake all the way to the apex. He's literally 3/4 of the brake at the apex of the corner.
Yeah, this corner brake, you could brake really late until the apex for this one. Just look at one. Brake really late.
Right, but you're also allowing the weight of the car to stay on the front tires for extra grip too. That's the whole point of it.
Yeah. So exit, you could use. I think here is the white line though. You can. Yeah, I have a little bit movement here on the exit. Usually want to exit. I got the rear got loose a little bit here. Right here. Have to do a correction, but you want pretty much have your right tire on the yellow sausage that you have there, and that will be fine. You're not gonna. If you go over it, then you could get your track cut there. So here, depending on the car, like for this lap I had it, so I'm gonna cut on the green. The left tire will be on the green here, but you'll see that it's bouncing the car a bit. Like on the exit, doesn't seem much here. We'll look at full speed and then you hear the sound to that. No, I didn't cut it here. I was just on the curb, but I was doing it like previously, and you could cut it. Some car doesn't mind. Most of the front engine doesn't care to cut it much. You could put your tire, left tire here. I could do it in the McLaren too. For this car, it just sound awful because you hear it all weird noise, but it's still fine. It's not upsetting the car, but something you could try. I'm not gonna gain much, but you could see, like you could see here, we're just on the edge of the curve right with the tire. So like half tire on it, half tire on the green. But some people will cut it right on the green and still fine. So here, because we are at 11 here, we have 12 that's coming like really quickly. So when we have two corners that's coming quickly like that, like left and right, right and left, you want to compromise the exit of the first one to have a better exit on the second one. So what I mean here, you want to stay like middle of the track or even a little bit more left. So you don't want to exit and go all the way up the right, because if you do that, then your turn 12 will be really slow. So like middle track, then I'm doing turn 12. Let it go a little bit. Yeah. When you get to this one, that's where you're gonna aim to get back on throttle carefully, because if you go full throttle here, we still have a long way to go. It's easy to spin the car here or just lose the rear. So try to be careful when you go there. See him go back full throttle. Just careful. Braking, let the car drift a tiny bit. Get back. See, I went back like 50-60%, and then the car is settled, and then I could go back full throttle. Let's watch it full speed. You'll have a better idea. And one more thing I want to show. This is a bit much like I'm on throttle like 20-25%. That's a bit more that's the way I drive it. I'm not sure it's the best one. When you see that on my replay, that's one play that you could probably just be coasting. I have a tendency to keep some of it, but I should try to not have some input, like when I try to coast it. What it could cause is I will be on throttle a little bit later, and then being on throttle later will mean that I will lose time. So GT3 car are good car. They have some aero, but they're not Formula One. So where the GT3 is gaining time, it's on the corner exit how fast you could get back full throttle. That's where you're gonna gain your time. If you delay your acceleration, that's where you're gonna lose time. So you want to try to, this is just one bad habit that I have, keeping some throttle on the corner. So when you see it, try to just trying to coast, and then as soon as possible being full throttle, and that's where you're going to gain all your time for your lap. Coming to turn 13. So what I'm using for braking here, it's when I'm gonna be able to see like I'm starting to see the end of it. If you go back just a tiny bit, since we're going down, I only see the right now. I don't see in the current at all. So when I'm starting to see it all, that's where I want to brake it. That's what I'm using here. Yeah. And then here we have big sausage for this corner, and 14, 15 we have those big sausage. You want to go close to it, but don't touch it. They're way too big to try to cut over it. It's just gonna bump the car, and so go close, but don't touch it. I think I touch it a bit here. You can see. So it was tiny bit. I still have to touch it. I just leave the car. See, I just nipped it.
You
That's
nipped it.
Yeah, but even that,
Playing card.
even that, you can still see the car moving because of it. So if you
Yeah.
touch it a bit more than that, it's just gonna bump you a lot. And what's gonna happen, instead of exiting like here, you're gonna be like here, which is not what you want because, like I said, previous corner, we have two corners coming quick, so you want to exit the middle, so you compromise this one, and then here we have like three, so we're gonna compromise the next one, and then prepare for 15 to have a good exit of 15. So if you're here, look,
Would you say middle to slightly left of middle would be kind of optimal?
yeah, a little bit more than the middle here.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
It's fine. Fine for this one. We still have a bit more time. It's not as close as the next one. Oh. That's cool. Yeah, a little bit more. This one is fine. We still have the time to go back on the right. Here for the. So I'm gonna brake under that bridge. Don't use the shadow. If we're racing a different time of day, that shadow will change place. So I'm gonna brake when I get under it. So you're not gonna see it anymore. It's like shadow where you have the curb here that's starting. You have the boot over there. You have a couple of things that you could use for you. So as you could see here, since those two corners was pretty close to one each other, I'm still not like fully right. So I'm not even pointing to the corner. I'm not even starting printing like out of try. See, I'm still going to try to brake on the straight line, and then going close again. Exit middle, a little bit of throttle. Let it go. No brake, just lift. And then back full throttle. Your exit. You want to stay not much than this. You could cross the yellow one, and then you'll be full throttle for last corner.
And just so you guys know, he's damn near drifting the entire chicane. That's why it looks easy.
Yeah, almost drifted, yeah.
And all he's doing is directing the front of the car with the front tires. He's actually steering with the brakes.
Yeah, you could use your throttle and your braking to turn the car. And I like to. So if you could do that, turn the car a bit with your brake and your throttle, you're gonna have to use less of steering, which means that you'll have more speed because your wheel will not turn as much, and the car will just have less resistance to go faster. It's not gonna make huge difference, but those tiny 10 here and there, they just add up on the lap. And if you want to try to maximize, that's one way. But I like, that's my style of it. Like the chicane, you could see like the rear was a little loose, and just give it the steering wheel to make it slide a bit for the chicane. Or I like to turn the car. That's why I'm having like brake bias was 48 for this lap. Well, that's driver preference. Some people like to steer with the throttle and some other with the brake. So.
Can we see 13, 14, 15 from the outside at like half speed, just so I can kind of keep an eye on like the braking and throttle as you go through?
Yeah, sure. Let's see, it's exit on 12.
One thing to also note too is his tires are absolutely screaming at him to calm down. You can hear him scrubbing the whole way through the chicane.
sliding, but they're not sliding. There's a different sound. So if you go
Right.
a bit after that, then the sound will change. That's not good, but that sound is fine. You're
Yeah, the
not like
tires will
feeling the
never
tire.
be. Yeah, the tires will never be quiet except for when you're driving straight.
Yeah,
If the tires are making noise, you're doing something right because you're loading the tires up quite a bit and they have just a little bit of slip compared to the amount of grip that they have also.
yeah. So this one, it's not gonna destroy the tire. I could do my stint while driving like that. That sound of the tire is fine. Well, when you're pushing a bit more than that, then you will have the sliding sound, which that sound indicates that you're going to destroy your tire. So Larry probably have already talked to you on sound setting on the game while driving, so you hear more of your tire because since we're not on the car physically, we have the force feedback, yes, but we also want to have the sound of the tire so we know if you're pushing enough or not enough, or if you're destroying the tire. It's going to give you a lot of information. So you need to combine your force feedback, the sound of the tire, to get as much information as a driver because we're not in the car to feel the G-force and the sliding of it. We have the visual, the sound, and the force feedback. That's pretty much what we have. Is there any other question on any part of the track that you want to know, or something that you would like to see back, or anything?
Yeah, Michael, if you don't mind, can you do one more lap in chase cam, full speed?
Yeah, sure.
Thanks.
If you have any generalized tips about turn 10 when we get there too,
Yeah.
it throws me quite off.
For those of you who do not know, we do have the ACC track map channel above the social channel.
And I use that map for the track also because some of the maps might have turn different. Like here we are at turn 5.
Yeah, some of them
And
don't
this
consider this bend 6.
this is 6. Yeah, some other will not and will mention this one as 7 as 6. Using the one that we have on Discord, so we have the same number when we're talking.
Coming out of 9, heading to 10.
Come back to 10 after this.
I love the way you carry speed through that corner with that downshift and then the upshift. It sounds so cool.
I was just thinking the same thing. Your inputs are impeccably smooth. It's quite amazing, really. Wow, that's rapid.
No doubt. What was the
Wow.
lap time?
143.9, I think it was, right?
Oh, jeez.
43.
143.3. Sorry, I didn't mean to insult you.
Excellent lap time, Landry. Excellent lap time,
Yeah,
sir.
amazing,
Dude.
really.
Turn 10.
What part? Okay, David, were you the one that was asking about the about turn 10 here?
It was me, Jeff.
Okay, Jeff. Okay, well, now, quick question.
It's the turn in, I think, that I'm curious about.
Well, what I was going to say is, what part of the turn do you think is giving you the most trouble, and what is the result of this? Now, I'm asking because we're seeing it done, I would say, as correct as you can. But what is your result through the corner? Like, if you could walk us through, like, what happens if you normally do yours here on a regular basis?
It's slow.
Well, no. Now, granted, you have to remember pace is relative here because obviously, Mikey.
No, but I mean,
so
it just doesn't feel smooth. Like it feels like by the end of the corner, I'm biting it too hard, and the tires are just going crazy.
Okay, now let me ask you this. How much steering input do you have on the exit side of the corner after apex?
Too much. It
Okay.
just yeah.
Now,
I haven't raced today, so
right.
I'm sitting in my rig right now, and
Kinda
I'm trying to
thinking
think
of it
about
and-
it.
Yeah.
And looking at the shared screen. I'd have to go back and check to give you good answers, but I just feel like I am slowing down, but it just I'm just not using the same line he's using.
Okay,
My
now,
line, yeah.
one of the reasons maybe why you have to think about it, but Davin usually talks about doing things backwards here, or trying to analyze everything from the end to the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as you come out of the this hairpin and you're aiming, say, down the track, which way is the car facing? Is it facing more towards the outer edge of the corner or towards the inner edge of the corner on the exit side?
I'd say the inner because I'm already starting. Let me look at the track map just to make sure I'm not thinking of a different track altogether. One sec here.
Barcelona is the top one in our track map list.
Yeah, I've got it shared here. So there's a tiny bit of a straightaway over there,
Uh-huh.
and I tend to, if I'm looking at the track map from Discord, it's like I'm going towards that number 11.
Right.
Like I'm crossing back over across the track when I come out of this.
Okay, so technically position-wise, you're more towards the right side of track on exit.
I'm on the
turn.
right side, and I'm pointed
Okay.
like I'm slowly transitioning across to the left.
Okay. Now, the reason I'm asking is because if you had said that you're facing more towards turn 13, which is completely up the hill and over the other side.
Oh, that has happened, but
No,
but
I
not
realize.
normally.
but that's what I'm saying. If you come out of the corner and you have it up against the right-hand side of the track, are you able to accelerate near the apex, or are you waiting a long time after?
I can accelerate shortly after the apex, I would say.
Okay. Now, the other thing is, when you come into the corner, when you're doing your braking, like, go ahead and let this run, Landry, for just a second until you get to about apex. So we have an idea of a straight braking line and then a turn in at full speed, if you would.
I think I'm turning in earlier.
Okay.
Like I'm crossing the track earlier. Or
would you say that you get up above the curb into the green area or not?
No. Sometimes, yeah, I do. Yep.
Okay. The most likely what's happening is what you said, is you're turning in a little too soon.
Yeah.
You should practice braking a tiny bit earlier and turning in slightly later, because a lot of people actually try to do it the other way around. They brake late, and then they feel as though because the car's still going super fast for the corner that they need to crank the wheel all of a sudden, and all that does is create a lot of understeer because of the fact that think of it this way: the front tires only have 100% grip to deal with, from none to 100%. When you're braking, specifically in a straight line like this, you're using, say, 98% of it or more to slow the car down. And you also want to be on the brakes efficiently, meaning you need to get on the brakes really quickly from 0 to 100, back off a tiny bit for some modulation, and you're using as much grip as you can to get the car slowed down. And as he begins to turn the steering wheel, he's asking more from the tires than they're capable of giving. So he has to start backing off the brakes to allow for steering grip to come in.
And you can feel that transition, I find. You can feel when all of a sudden you let off the brakes and let it run a little bit, you just magically get like a whip of steering back in the wheel.
Right, exactly. So what I would suggest is try braking a little earlier, like a full car length maybe, and then turn in later to see if you're more consistent going through the corner itself. Because it sounds like if you've turned in too soon and you can't get back on throttle right around the apex area. And can you roll it down to right at the apex and then go over top of the car to show what it looks like? By the way, there's a lot of camera angles for the game too, guys. You just have to know how to access it. So that's nice. The apex, or slightly after. Maybe not even a half a car. Yeah, right about there. That's about the middle of the corner, technically. So as he starts to get back on throttle, it may be even a tiny bit after because of the fact that he's carrying so much speed. He's allowing the car to do its job while he's still coasting because the amount of grip he has is perfect. The car's doing exactly what he wants it to do. And if he gets on the throttle, the car leans back, which then takes away the excess grip on the front wheels. So remember, anytime that you're using the brake or the throttle or the steering, you're changing where the weight is on the car. But that was a perfect example there. Yeah, he's all the way back out to the edge of the track, and like he said, he might even touch the yellow to help keep the car in line.
Does the yellow have a bit of texture to it? It's a
No,
sausage curve, is it?
it's just a tall curb.
Yeah, I just thought
Okay.
it to give, since you're turning.
Yeah, it might have some serrations, but it's not huge.
No, it's
Yeah.
The ones that usually make
it's like
the ones that usually make the most noise are the white and yellow ones, or the white and red ones. They're
Yeah.
scalloped.
These are bolt-on kind of
Yeah.
removable. Yeah.
Uh,
I used to live in Montreal, and you could, if they weren't racing, you could bicycle around the track anytime you wanted. It was fascinating to see the track in slow motion, like lap after lap. You go do 20 laps of it, kind of thing.
yeah, I walked that track. I went see Formula One there, so I walked the track a couple times. But yeah, for that corner, I'll do like Larry said. I will brake a little bit earlier and don't try to brake as far in the corner that I did. So instead of doing this, you brake a little bit earlier, but you use more coasting. Coasting is really powerful in this game. It's really important to let the car go. So like I said, every time you see me like 10% input, don't do what I do. Do a real coasting. It's really powerful and just give you the extra time to get back on throttle like a tiny bit earlier and gain time.
It's more controllable
Yes.
because I guess you're limiting the amount of inputs.
Yeah. We got it. I just like what this corner turn 10. I brake really late in the corner. If you missed it a bit, you're gonna overshoot the corner a bit and lose a bunch of time.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And it's really not unusual for anybody to turn in early because I would say that using a normal everyday car, the cars have so much understeer built into them. You have to be able to turn in early to make the damn thing make a corner. But then again, too, where we don't have anywhere near the downforce, don't have anywhere near the grip that a regular race car does, and all of a sudden, the amount of horsepower that's possible. So it's very different than driving your own everyday car. But some of the things that you might want to pay attention to, and I was talking with a couple of racers earlier about this, is how quickly you need to get on the brakes. Because I've seen quite a few of you where you step on the brake and it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 full brake. That really isn't going to cut it, unfortunately. You really got to get on the brakes pretty quickly. So from 0 to 100 in the right conditions needs to be 0 to 100 in milliseconds, I guess you could say.
yeah.
But other places, it's just kind of step on the brake and hold enough to keep the car under control. But it's individually cornered. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, those cars have ABS and they are built to run with ABS. So use it like smash the brake when you're full throttle. Like it's not gonna lock the wheels. So that's why use it. They are built for that.
I find if it's like corner 2, you don't really need to go full on the brakes because you got a great big sweeper coming after it, so you want to carry a lot of speed for that. But for if it's 90 degrees, obviously you're gonna, and if you're coming down off a really long straight, you got to tramp it.
Yeah, coming down into, let's say, turn 1 is one of the heavier braking zones and that sort of thing. Coming down the hill to 10, that's a very heavy braking zone.
8 to 9.
Just before the chicane, yeah, you're going to hit the brakes pretty hard there.
9 is a weird corner too sometimes, because I feel like it should be high speed, but it's still a 90-degree turn.
No, it is a high-speed corner. Let's go back to that, Brian, or Landry. That's where you lift and touch the brakes and coast for about 90% of it.
So that's what we're talking about, so this is a good corner to look at.
Right.
Yeah, I just tap the brake and coast and them full.
Watch the inputs on the right side. Lift, touch.
That's it.
Wait, go. I mean, basically, you're just allowing the aerodynamics to hold you to the ground.
I'm pretty sure I can gain at least a second if I do that corner right.
What was the minimum speed through there, Landry?
I think it was 160.
That's what I thought. 160 kilometers an hour is what? Damn near 100?
Yep.
Damn near 90 or 100 miles an hour?
Yep.
So you guys got to remember, you're really hauling ass through this corner here. This is no baby corner.
159.
A whole 59 for a split second. But yeah, you're really moving.
Yeah. Are there any other question on any part of the track?
No, man, this was awesome. Great info, Michael. Thank you so much.
No problem. So if you have any question, like later, you could. I'm one of the coach. There's other coach. Larry's there to ask any of the coach. You could DM me if I'm on the house of practice. I could answer question. I try to be there when racing in other series too, so I'm not always there. But when I'm there, don't hesitate. If you have any question, I'll be happy to answer anything.
All right. Thanks a lot. Have a good night, everybody.
All right, Ed. Have a good one, man. Good to see you back.
Good to be back. See you guys later.
Thanks for your time, guys. Have a good night.
Yep. Thank you.
Anybody going to run over to the practice server and see what it's like?
Is it on Barcelona or Brands Hatch right now?
No. The qualifying server's on Brands is on Barcelona. Right now, the regular HOP is Barcelona, and we're having a blast doing it. There must have been 12 of us out there today.
So Barcelona have the BOP. I don't know if there's BOP for the custom BOP for the older car, the rookie car.
I think they're working on it now. I was reading up a minute ago about it.
Okay.
HOP is Brands Hatch right now, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
And can we use the qualifying Barcelona server to practice, or should we just keep it like
At this point, I would wait because some of the guys are still doing their possible qualifying times. If you're the only one there, yes, but if it ends up getting crowded, I would say no.
There's
Mainly
only
because the
there's only one person on right now.
well, they're they're the lucky one right now, I guess.
Yeah.
No, the reason I say this is because the guys that run Tuesday, they're looking for lap times. I was out there this afternoon working with somebody. I mentioned it in chat, and they know who I am, so it was like, okay, fine. But we stayed away from them all. So they were on one side of the track, we were on the other. And I can keep an eye on it. You guys are driving to keep the car in check, and if somebody else is out there qualifying, it kind of gets in the way of each other.
Sure.
I was still trying to improve just before this.
So for the rookie race, that's Thursday, right?